about my capstone project. My topic for capstone is stop motion. I will be taking you through the process of making a stop motion film. So, first things first, what is stop motion? Stop motion is a cinematographic technique whereby the camera is repeatedly stopped and started, for example, to give animated figures the impression of movement. In other words, where you take a picture, move the characters or props a little, and then take another picture, and it looks like it's moving when you put them together. So, this is an example of a stop motion film. It is a Wallace and Gromit film called A Grand Day Out, Landing on the Moon. So that's an example of stop motion, and they went through the process that I'm going to explain to make that film. So why did I choose stop motion? I chose stop motion because last year I did my passion project on short films, and I really enjoyed that experience. And this year I wanted to do something similar to it. And first I was thinking animation or movies, and then I came across stop motion. And I really like stop motion because I'd seen some films before and they were really interesting, and I thought it was going to be a fun and interesting experience. There are 3 essential steps in making a stop motion film. These are pre-production, production, and post-production. Pre-production, there are different essential elements. There's storyboarding, gathering the items I need, making the characters, and setting everything up. In production, there are also essential elements. There's moving the characters at the right time, taking photos at the right time, and controlling how fast the character moves. In post-production, there's finding and editing software and adding sound effects and music. So the first step is pre-production. The first essential element in pre-production is storyboarding. Storyboarding is where you plan out your whole film shot by shot on a piece of paper. And you do this so that when you're shooting your film, you have, you know where each character is supposed to be in each shot, and you know what's going on. You also have to gather the items that you need. You'll need a camera, characters, lighting, and editing software. And you want to gather this stuff, the items that you need before you shoot your film, because if you do it while you're in production, you may forget something and have to retake a lot of frames again. You also have to make your characters. You could just go out to the store and buy them, but if you want to make them, you can be creative and make them whatever you want. So it does take a little more time, but if you want to make them, you'll need an armature, which is the skeleton of your character, and you'll need some clay or Play-Doh to outline the armature. And the last essential element in pre-production is setting everything up. You have to get the set ready in position, you have to get your characters ready for the first shot, and you have to get your camera pointing at the set. So the second step in making a stop motion film is production. So the first essential element is moving the characters and set at the right time. You have to move each character little by little, And let's say, for example, in this one, I was moving the Darth Vader all around and really concentrating on him. You have to also make sure that the other guy's moving a little, at least like swaying back and forth, or else it would look weird. He'd just be standing in the same position. And you also have to take the photos at the right time. You have to wait for your hand to be out of the way so your random hand doesn't appear in the middle of your film. And you have to make sure the characters are ready for the next shot, like not wobbling around or falling down. The final essential element in production is controlling how fast the characters move. A regular film is 24 to 30 FPS, which stands for frames per second. And if you make the movements bigger, like this, then your character will move faster. But it could be a little jerky, so you have to watch out for that. And if you make the movements a little shorter, then your character will move slower. This is sometimes a good thing because it'll be more smooth. But like if two characters are racing, you want them to be fast like that one. The final step in making a stop motion film is post-production. The main thing that you have to do in post-production is find an editing software. Your editing software is where you'll be adding sound effects and music and the background and everything like that. And for me it was kind of easy to find mine because when I went to my interview with Nick from the Digital Arts Experience, he gave me a few ideas like clap motion, stop motion, which is this one. But you have to make sure that when you're on the web just looking for an editing software, you don't find one that's spam or one that doesn't work, or else your film won't look right. And your editing software is really where you'll just be doing your whole post-production. Things that you have to do in your editing software is add sound effects and add music. The sound effects make your film more intense and lively. For example, if a character's falling out of the sky and he hits the ground, it should make like a boom or a thump. If it doesn't, then it won't be realistic and it won't be intense. Like, it will just be there. And the music just tends to add a tone to your film, and it also keeps the audience interested. So in conclusion, there are 3 steps in making a film, which are pre-production, production, and post-production. And I went through these steps and I made my own, which I'll show you later. So for more information, you can visit my blog. And here's the film that I made.